I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. It's officially the new year, so let's take one last look at the stories covered on FYI throughout 2018 in the fourth and final installment of the Year in Review. As we look back 17 years to the tragedy that was 9/11, we vowed to never forget, and that rang true at one of our local fire stations as some Detroit Red Wings joined the commemoration. Ann Arbor's Fire Station 1 welcomed Red Wings Dylan Larkin, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Anthony Mantha during their Hockeytown Cares community tour.
We're just giving back to community. We came in, it's 9/11 today, so they had a quick ceremony for us here at the fire station, and to remember the lost ones, that was a great moment.
After the ceremony, the boys went head-to-head against your AAFD.
We got the chance to play a friendly game or competition against 4 firefighters, so it was actually awesome. We had to hit a tire, pull 165 dead weight, and then Bertuzzi had to pull that rope through, I think it's 25 meters. So it was a great morning.
The Detroit Red Wings had the honor of donating $3,500 to the Great Lakes Burn Camp on behalf of the Ann Arbor Fire Department.
We have such a big fan base around Michigan and even outside Michigan that it feels great for us to give back. It feels good to see smiles on everyone's faces, even on days like today. Obviously, we remember 9/11, but after that, we gave smiles, a couple autographs, couple pictures with people around here, and everyone's just happy to have us. And I mean, even us, we're happy to be here.
Being involved in sports at a young age promotes physical fitness, self-control, and determination. And the NFL, along with universities throughout the country, are reaching inner-city youth through the game. The Youth Impact Program welcomed 10 to 14-year-olds to Michigan Stadium, merging football with math, science, and life skills.
They're learning academics in the first half of the day, and then they're learning football and different football skills in the second half of the day. It's combining these, and it's also under the element of discipline. So it's really preparing them for football, for academics.
It has so many elements to it. It's not just football, not just rolling out a ball, and it's not great football instruction, how to throw the ball, how to catch the ball. These are life-changing types of experiences. In the morning, for the entire morning, it's strictly academics. Reading, writing, math, science.
The program utilizes public school teachers, the Marines, and NCAA and NFL coaches.
They're transferring their skills from the football field to the classroom, and it's really helping them because they know that they have to stay focused.
Basically, the Marines here are to make sure that the kids are following the instructions. We get them from point A to point B, and we try to do that as quickly as possible while also instilling discipline.
It has to do with how you live your life. You know, waking up in the morning with that enthusiasm unknown to mankind. I'm going to make this day better than yesterday, and I'm going to make tomorrow better today. And it isn't just athletics or football, and it's life. I want to be better at life.
Ice can do some amazing things. Just open your eyes to the winter and you'll experience the beauty of ice all around. But some Southeast Michigan universities took the artistry of ice a lot further during the Ice Carving Festival. County Farm Park welcomed artists as they created temporary sculptures out of ice.
These are college students from the Henry Ford Community College, and then we also have the U of M ice carving team this year as well. People can come and enjoy these great pieces that these students have created and help kind of support the local community colleges and colleges of Southeast Michigan.
We make a template about a week beforehand, just on paper to give us an idea of kind of what we want to design. Then we paste it on water, paste it on our ice block, and then you have a nice template to work with. Usually we start off with the saws, carve out our outline of what we want, and then we work from there with our specific precision tools like our Dremels and grinders and sanders to get exactly kind of more detail that we want in the carving itself.
For the Ice Carving Festival, the designs were left to the artists to decide.
how detailed do you want to get? How creative? Are you going 3D? Are you just going to wall? You know, what do you want? You know, what do you want to do? How do you envision it? And how long is it going to take you?
We're going to leave them right up here. So they are going to be on display in this County Farm Park Pavilion until they melt.
Give 365 has been sprucing up the city since 2011 by pulling weeds, spreading wood chips, planting, and even painting. The organization took on a large-scale project with the help of many loyal volunteers. Argo Park just got a facelift with the help of nearly 80 volunteers and the Give 365 crew.
This is the Argo Cascades underpass, and what it was a really heavily blighted area that had a lot of graffiti and things on it, and it was just an opportunity for us to kind of bring a little more beauty to an area that gets really a lot of heavy use.
The project spanned 4 days, and artist John Butcher designed the work in a way that volunteers could do the majority of the painting.
We projected the outline, did the outline, and then now it's a paint by numbers and engaging the community, getting the community involved and caring for their park. And now every time they pass by, they can say, hey, I painted that.
The composition is an abstract, very active composition that will complement, I think, the idea of life here with trees, movement with the kayaks, as well as just the noise of the river going in the background. So something that will complement these sort of sensory experiences that isn't literal.
We started the graffiti cover-up about 2 years ago, so this was kind of just a way more massive project than what we normally do, but was a really great opportunity for us to get the community out and volunteers out to really, kind of help beautify our city. In 2018, we experienced an influx of new technologies here on FYI. Take a look at the technology of today shaping tomorrow's future. The Neutral Zone's annual DIY zone focused on make it, take it activities.
Neutral Zone is developing a larger bridge between art and technology. Really what we've been doing is listening to what the teenagers and young people in our community want and need.
I brought in 3D printing, virtual reality, and many other things, trying to show the kids that there's more to art than just what they learn at school, because there's so many possibilities.
The day's events included arts and technology for today, leading towards the future of tomorrow.
Dreamgate's in virtual reality, just like what I'm wearing, but they're taking a different aspect to it. As I'm here showing the art, they're there showing the games.
You can create different things. I screen printed a shirt. I also I think it was pewter casting, a little keychain that said NZ on it. There's a bunch of virtual reality stuff going on. It's super cool things.
We have an electric skateboard with a racetrack over here that you can race your friends on the mini racetrack. We've got Skyline Robotics. You can check out their custom built robot.
Little kids can come and be involved in the Neutral Zone, as well as teenagers and adults. So it's a cool thing for everyone.
It's just a neat time for people to do hands-on activities, to get involved and team build, have a blast, have some free pizza, and just explore, laugh, do something weird, do something for the first time.
The Henry Ford hosts their annual Maker Faire, melding the world of old and new.
I love to think that the Henry Ford is a great location for Maker Faire, because if Henry Ford was alive today, if Edison was alive today, this is exactly what they would be doing. They'd be creating amazing inventions, they'd be encouraging people to try them out, test them out, do them, engage with them, adopt them.
The Maker Faire is chock full of action and outrageous spectacle.
Our robots are built in a 6 weeks period. Every year, the game gets released in January. Based on the challenge, we have to design, build, and program our robot towards that challenge. And it's a very iterative process. There's a lot of things that we have to do, and a lot of testing before we get to our final product. And yeah, we're just showcasing our work this past season.
We have an entire typewriter section set up, and it's been super fun to watch because little kids don't necessarily know what a typewriter is.
3, 2, 1, fight! One of the games we bought, we call it Poker Face, because it has a poker in front of a tank and a balloon in the back. And we have 4 of them in a playing field, and they're battling it out. The last balloon wins. Another game we have bought, we call it Robo Soccer, and that game is a virtual soccer. So we have 2 robots which push a tennis ball to score goals. But the twist here is that you can't look at the tank. And so you're wearing virtual headset, and there is a small video camera on the tank. So you're looking through the eye of the tank.
It's a wonderful place where you get to have just such a huge range of things to do. There is literally something for everyone here. So if you're a knitter or a crafter, we have the hands-on needle art zone. If you're into robotics, we have an amazing robotics area. It's the entire spectrum. So for everyone, it's the place to come get inspired and remember to play while learning.
Engines purred, tires screech, and races were close as cars sped around the track. Jill Andrews has the details on this high-octane hobby in this report.
Radio control car drivers are living life in the fast lane at the Washtenaw County RC Raceway.
Today we're having our end of season fun run for RC car racing. It's all sorts of classes of RC cars. Some is more competitive than others.
It's social and it's competitive, but it's for fun. And I'd compare it to a lot of guys go to bowling leagues or softball leagues and that kind of thing. Well, we just race cars, so we get together here every other Saturday during the winter season. And it's not just the racing, it's the social aspect of it. We share tips and tricks with our cars and a reason to get together and hang out, and we have some fun racing the cars while we're here too.
Some racers are born to drive, while others just enjoy the ride.
One great part of this program here at the Washtenaw Farm Council grounds is really associated with like new people coming in. A lot of the more experienced drivers will come and help novice racers that come here for the first time.
You're racing against the guys that are on the track with you, but you're also racing against the track. So you've got the jumps, the obstacles, the conditions change. Sometimes the track's drier or wetter, so we're constantly changing our cars to try and meet what the track is doing, and changing tires, changing setup. So a lot of the racing happens before you even get on the track. There's the setup that goes into it that can have a huge effect on how well you do when you actually get out there on the track. It can be intimidating for somebody who's new, but what's great about this place is they have classes for beginners. The people are super nice and will help you out. Nobody turns away a beginner or is afraid to offer them a hand when they need it.
I really enjoy the camaraderie of friends. We have a lot of people that really are great to talk to. The competition is good. I like it a lot. When we have close races, it makes it even more fun. You get a lot of adrenaline from doing this.
Rhythm was a dancer, creating life, movement, and energy as musicians got together to share their love of the art. Rhythm Life Collective created fusion and unity with the crowd as they became one with the music.
We're a group of probably 15 that come and go, that travel and study, then come back, and we've been doing this work together for about 12 years, and we call ourselves the Rhythm Life Collective because life is about rhythms of nature and movement.
We came together with some drum and dancers playing specific traditional rhythms and then opening up into a dance performance of sorts where we try to be really interactive with the crowd and play traditional rhythms, but also play music that's inspired and improvised in the moment.
This is an interactive culture. In West Africa, you don't separate music and song and dance. It all comes together, unlike our culture where you might just be a singer or a dancer or a musician. In West African culture, everybody does everything. It's very much a community involvement practice. Life is rhythm. If you move according to nature and rhythm and make yourself open and aware and free and continue to be a student, then you'll be in rhythm with your life.
The Interfaith Center for Spiritual Growth hosts a drum and dance jam led by Curtis Glatter.
drumming is actually the oldest language in the history of the world. Even before we started speaking languages, we started communicating by drum. Cities by cities would actually start communicating if somebody was born or if they were having their child graduate from high school or just learn a new language. They would actually communicate using drums to send messages across communities.
To keep this form of communication alive, Curtis welcomes all to join the jam.
A lot of times people bring their children, but also there are professional drummers that come to the drum circle as well. So they want to learn more about the drummers that are here, and the musicians also show up, like flute players and violin players. The spirituality involves allowing yourself to just relax and also work your right and left hand as well as finger techniques. The reason it's a spiritual drum circle is because we don't require any techniques. We just allow people to jam as they wish.
Washtenaw County has made some large strides in the field of medicine. Watch as treatments transform with technology. WCC cut the ribbon as they start their next chapter as a National Center of Excellence in Nursing Education.
Having this state-of-the-art simulation lab allows us to prepare our nursing students so they're ready to go out and work in the community. And the necessity of having a lab like this is students not only get clinical experience, but they practice before they go to clinical. They're actually working with human simulators that are very realistic.
This simulation even allows students to experience the miracle of birth.
In the control tower, control how far we want the contractions apart, what type of birth we want to have. We can have a breech birth, we can have a precipitous delivery. We can challenge the students with all kinds of difficult deliveries that they might see in the real world. And then they actually deliver the baby. It's very realistic. The baby actually comes out and the students are there to assist the baby into the world.
Not only does WCC boast a top-notch teaching staff, they're dedicated to the success of students.
Once a student is admitted into our nursing programs, we want to do everything that we can to help keep them here. And sometimes that means helping them out with the cost of books or helping them out with maybe daycare for their children. So anything we can do, we like to do to help keep those students in those seats and make sure that they're successful and they graduate.
The new 66,000 square foot cancer center on the campus of St. Joe's Ann Arbor not only boasts the latest in technology, but prides itself on patient care.
Let's welcome them like we know that they're old friends and they feel comfortable here, whether it be the CyberKnife treatment, which is very, very precise radiation, or just on the new linear accelerators that we have. And these are the latest treatments where they can aim the beam from different angles. So where they all converge is where they all can cause the cancer to die off in there, but leaving the other tissues spared.
The new facility was designed with the patient in mind, as their input was a deciding factor in the finished product.
We want patients to go back to their families. We want patients to enjoy life and not have to be worrying about their cancer all the time. That's our goal. That's what we want to see.
There are approximately 13,000 kids in the foster care system in Michigan alone. One local organization is on a mission to deplete that number by dedicating themselves to inclusivity. Local adoption and foster care agency, Hands Across the Water, is being recognized for their services to the modern family.
There's a celebration and an honor is being bestowed on Hands Across the Water for their work with LGBTQ youth and families.
We're celebrating Hands Across the Water's 7th consecutive year being recognized by the Human Rights Commission for our All Children, All Families Leadership Seal of Recognition for our work with LGBTQ families and children.
The organization wants people to know how important a foster family can be in a child's life.
We're having really an extreme shortage of foster families. There are times when we can't find placement for a baby, even temporarily, even one night, and I kind of just feel like in a community like Ann Arbor, this should never happen.
We're waiting right now to adopt a child from southeastern Michigan, and so we wanted to touch base with the community here that's helping hopefully match us in the future with our baby, and we wanted to help support them and all that they do for our community.
When our loved ones pass, their memory lives on with the people whose lives they touched. But what happens when those people pass on? The legacy created in life disappears, or has it? The Saline Rotary Club is bringing history to life during the Oakwood Cemetery Enactment Tour.
It's an opportunity to tell people about some of the people that were ancestors here. That some very, very famous. You recognize their names. They're on streets. Other people might not have heard of, but still have an interesting story to tell.
We've invited people from the community and to listen to our stories of the people who used to live here in the 1850s.
This Saline Cemetery provides a rich history of the people who once walked the city's streets.
Callie was a teacher. She started teaching at 15, and she was in charge of the first primary district in Saline Union Schools. Students still go to that school to this day. No one really knows how she died. It's really a mystery. She died 2 days before her 18th birthday. Her family was planning a surprise birthday party before her 18th birthday. As fate would have it, her funeral was held on that day instead.
Levi was a person that he had two great accomplishments. One, he made he bred a form of wheat, a variety, a hybrid of wheat that you can still buy today on the internet, which whatever that means. He also was the father of Frank Haynes, very famous photographer, and also not just an advocate for Yellowstone Park, but a person who went on to have a lot of very interesting adventures in Yellowstone Park, some that nearly cost him his life.
It gives an in-depth insight of what life was like around the 1800s in Saline. And you get to know a few of the people, and they're not just ordinary stones in the ground, there are actual people there.
In Washtenaw County, you probably noticed quite a few airplanes overhead, and that is due to the airport that has resided in our community since the 1930s. Check out their yearly celebration, bringing the excitement of flight to our youth. Sundays are usually brunch days, but instead of having that meal at a restaurant, how about at the Ann Arbor Airport during their pancake breakfast?
There is pancakes, and then outside people have brought in some airplanes, some older airplanes. Then we got a couple of gyrocopters.
People can come out and meet people from the airport and see what the airport is from the inside of the fence.
Once the dishes were done, people could get up close and personal with one-of-a-kind aircrafts.
The Experimental Aircraft Association was originally founded to support pilots who build their own airplanes and fly them. And we've got a couple airplanes like that here today, but we've also got regular production airplanes, and our EAA members have brought out everything from a vintage Stearman biplane, which was a trainer in World War II, all the way up to some more modern light sport aircraft.
I like watching all of the people come together, and especially like watch the kids play with the airplanes, because I think it's really fun to get little kids involved in aviation.
As a pilot, myself, I've been around it my whole life, and a lot of people, I think they see an airplane and think, wow, I wonder what it's like to be a pilot. And it's a lot more achievable than I think a lot of people think. It's a little different from driving a car, but it provides a tremendous amount of freedom, and it's a very exhilarating experience.
April brings spring showers, pastels, and Easter activities, and the city of Saline had all that wrapped into one as they gathered to commemorate the season. Jill Andrews has the details.
Kids put all of their eggs in one basket at the Saline Spring Celebration.
So today's our annual Spring Fest, and it entails an Easter egg hunt out in our woods, and then people can come in and do a lunch with a bunny, followed by our egg dive. But we also have our hippity hop trail going on where local businesses are out handing out goodie bags or little treats, and then visiting with all the children and the families who are here.
The festival got extreme as kids took a dive to win some prizes.
We actually won an award through the Michigan Recreation and Parks Association for a unique program. The eggs don't actually sink, so there's technically not diving to go get the eggs. However, they float on top of the water, and the children gather them. So they get to put their bathing suits on, go in the pool, gather the eggs, fill their bags with them, and then later on they get prizes and goodie bags for doing so. And then we invite them to stay and swim afterwards. The Easter Bunny, it wouldn't be Spring Fest without having the bunny here. So the bunny takes time out of, its busy day and comes and visits with all the children. Right now the bunny is doing some photos with the boys and girls who are here. And really it's all about like families having opportunities to kind of make those memories with their children. And they do, they remember it for years and years to come.
This year, we saw people fighting for their rights by gathering in large numbers during marches and protests throughout the country. Take a look at a couple of the marches we had at the local level. Eastern Michigan University marched for our freedoms in honor of MLK.
This year is especially special and important because this is the 50th anniversary of his death. So of course we just wanted to make sure that we did his legacy justice.
That march is to symbolize the march from Selma to Montgomery many years ago, which started out with a small contingent and grew and grew and grew until they hit Montgomery. They started small with about 3,200 people, and they grew. By the time they got to Montgomery, they were 50,000 strong, and there were people of every race, every gender, every ethnicity with a united voice.
The march began at the King Garden, adorning a bust of the man himself.
Our theme is live the legacy, look back, be present, move forward.
It's important that we can look to someone who we know fought hard, someone who had a lasting effect.
Protesters marched in cities throughout America for the safety of our children, marched for common sense gun laws, marched for peace, and they marched for our lives.
We are all here protesting to keep our kids safe and keep the rest of our citizens safe by implementing more gun control policies.
March for our lives. It's for everyone's lives, not just the kids, not just the adults. It's anybody who goes out in public, people who go to the malls, people who go to the movies, people who go to church, people who go to work, people who go to school. All of us deserve to be safe.
Today we're letting our voices be heard, that I feel like politicians are no longer listening to the majority, no longer listening to the people, they're listening to their pockets.
It's really nice to see that I am not the only person who feels this way. And I think that if the Founding Fathers could have imagined anything like a machine gun, if they could have imagined anything like somebody walking into a classroom and killing a bunch of kids, they would have rethought the Second Amendment.
Over 4,000 gathered in Ann Arbor alone to fight for change.
It could have been us just as easy as it was them at Parkland. They went to school on a regular day and 14 of them didn't get to go home. So even if you think it'll never affect you, it can.
We are meant to live life as a community, meant to live life together. And as we become an individualized society, we're going to keep having these problems. So to go against that and to come together all in one big group with a shared goal, a shared purpose, all with like the hopes of keeping people safe, come on, it's amazing.
The education of our children.
Visit a2gov.org/watchctn to view this and other programs. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.